got ready for you guys. And I'm going to go and clear it out. We'll go over WordPress itself a little bit. And don't just ignore what I'm doing right at the moment. Because I'm going to reset this thing. So what I'm doing, I have a plugin in that can reset a WordPress site from within itself.
Oh.
Yep. Now see, it's back as if I just installed it.
Oh, wow.
It's like when you're in school and you have all these computers, and at the end of the day, you press a button and all the machines go back to what they were before the students interacted.
Okay.
So that's what that little plugin can do. And let me just look and see what they're saying about updates here first. We are going to be using this guy here, so we'll go ahead and update this one. We'll update them all. So while this is happening, let me explain a couple things with WordPress for you. I don't know how far you are in the WordPress. You said you were just a beginner, and I don't know how far Ada is, if I'm saying that name right. How far you are in WordPress, or if you do WordPress at all. But I'm going to act as if you don't. That way we can get as much as we can out of the training. And this will be done in a second. You can see the spinning thing up at the top. I think you can. How far can you see anyway? Can you see my mouse all the way at the top screen right there?
I can see your tabs.
You see my mouse moving?
Yeah, I can see your mouse moving in the corner there.
And how far down? Can you see it moving down here?
Yeah, I can see your mouse at the different icons.
Okay, good. All right, I just want to make sure. So she says she's a beginner. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, and it look like it's only 2 of us. Well, then we'll just continue. And I made it so that they can just jump in, but they'll have to just, take it as far as they get it, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, I'd say sounds good. That's all I said.
And this thing's taking forever to update. I should have just said update the one plugin. Oh, that's probably stuck at the e-commerce component. Well, what I was going to say about the WordPress is you have a couple different kinds of WordPress. You have WordPress.org, which is the one you just log in and do whatever you want to do on, and it's free. Then you have this WordPress, which is the actual self-installation type. It's its own program that you install at your host. Right. I don't know which kind that you have, and you might have this type. But this is the most powerful. It's also the most attacked because it's the it's number one web development system. So it's going to get attacked. And what I'm doing right now is I want to make sure I've updated my plugins, because that's how you can get attacked if you don't update your stuff. People exploit those issues or whatever they found before they did an update.
Right.
So you want to make sure all your plugins and all your themes are in your system are updated. The reason why on that too is the same reason, but also a lot of people have a lot of themes they've tested in their system, and then they go with one and they leave those old themes in the system in the system. You want to go back and delete those. Delete anything you're not using, and if you have plugins in your system that you're not using, also remove them. Because everything slows your system down. Also, everything can be exploited. Now, I know you're a beginner, Ada. So I'm talking about stuff that you might not know about, but I'm just really running my mouth until this thing gets updated. So, and I'm almost done. This last little piece, and we'll use these plugins. Yeah, I'm hot in this room. Wow. So 1 second while that's updating, I'm going to shut the little thermostat. Okay. Oh, why is it taking so long? Okay, there we go. Now, all right. So, like I said, there's two different kind of WordPresses, and the WordPress I'm using is the one that's self-installed at your own host. 101, GoDaddy, wherever you host your stuff. This is the one I'll be using. So, let me go to the beginning of the website as if I was a viewer or a user. So, this is like a WordPress site that's been installed. It's not been set up. It's just, the default theme, because WordPress uses themes. Themes are like wraps on top of your website, and it gives it the looks and shapes and colors and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't change the innards inside, except for some things that come with its own plugins. Plugins are things that give it features and stuff. Like if you wanted a calendar, you need a plugin for a calendar. If you want an e-commerce, which we'll use a plugin for e-commerce. So all those little plugins you add are the little features that you get for the site. The other thing is, when I do WordPress sites, I'll have the front side open, which is what I call, when visitors view your website. And I also have the back side of a website, which is the dashboard. So I open that up in another tab. So when I build, I'll have the back end and the front end. So as I work on the stuff in the back, I'll go back to the front and then refresh it to see how it works, instead of you going back and forth inside one tab. It just takes a long time. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's start at WordPress itself when someone visits the site, where things are. So for instance, this is a fresh install of WordPress. And what you'll notice, if you logged into the system, which I just did a minute ago, and you log in by going to whatever your domain is, going to /admin underscore, WP underscore admin, and that'll take you to the login. And when you log in, you'll notice you have this little bar right here, which other people won't see unless they're also a user that's logged in. This is their little control panel.
Mhm.
So let's look at the control panel a little bit. So when you first log in, from the left-hand side to the right, you'll see there's WordPress propaganda here. This right here is the name of the site you've given it. So it's your title. If you hover over that title, you can go to the dashboard, which takes you back to here. And you can also jump over into things like the theme, menus, and all this other kind of stuff, which this theme doesn't happen to have. So I'm going to install a different theme here, to begin with. This theme, the newest theme that comes by default, is a weird theme. So I don't suggest anyone use it, because it's strange.
Okay.
Because it doesn't even have like menu and all this other kind of stuff to it.
Mhm.
And we'll change that in a minute. The next thing you have over here, see this edit site? This is normally not in a standard theme, okay? So you know what I'm going to do right quick before we go any further? I'm going to change this theme to something that's standard. Let's take it to 2020. I'm just going to activate that theme. And let's go back. That way I can refresh it. It'll look different, but you'll see the things aren't the same. So when we hover over here, notice it says themes, widgets, and menus. That's what you're normally going to see. So from the front, you can get to your dashboard, which we saw before. You can get to your themes, widgets, and menus. Widgets are these little things that you add to the site that show things that are already in the site. For instance, let's say a calendar installed or a calendar plugin. Well, it'll give you a widget for showing things like, your little teeny calendar or upcoming events. That would be a widget. Since WordPress also has a blog built into it, widgets could be right here, like the categories for your blogs, or recent comments for your blogs, recent posts, recent archives. Okay, those are widgets. Certain themes have things called sidebars. You may be a little sidebar over here where you have your little widgets in it, or a sidebar over here, or you can have two sidebars on one side and one on the right, or none at all. Right now you see a theme that has no sidebars at the moment. We also have something called footers. So footer is like underneath your body of your content. So let's say this is the body, and then under here would be your footer. So these widgets can be stuck in your footers also. And this is the bottom of your site, which is truly the footer, where you say who made your site and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Now going across on this, you move over to something called customize. Customize allows you to edit the theme and customize the theme, basically exactly what it says. You also have an area in the dashboard where you can actually edit the theme's actual code. And if you don't know PHP, I wouldn't try that. The next thing over, see the little recirculation symbol? And then it has a 1 in it. What that's saying is that there is one comment ready for you to look at, approve, delete, or spam, or whatever it is. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I moved over one. This is saying that there's an update required. So there's one update required here. The next one over is the comments. That's a comment bubble. And notice it has 0 in it. So it means there's no comments right now. The next thing is the plus and new. Think of it like this. Think of it add, new, and then whatever's under there. So it'd be add new post, add new media, add new page, add new user. As you add more plugins to your site, it'll have things. Like say you add the shopping cart, it'll have something that says add new product. If you add a calendar, it'll say add new event. So the site is organic and it starts to grow as you add more features to the system. Sliding way over here, we have basically your profile stuff. And it was made in the South because it says howdy, a howdy webmaster. This here is your avatar. You can control that on the inside, whether you have one or not. You can edit your profile even as a regular user. It won't give you as much stuff to do, but it will give you that, and then you can log out. WordPress also has the ability to search everything in the system, not just things you set up to search. So the search is highly intrusive. For instance, let's say you have some blog posts about cats. You also have a page that says something about cats.
Mhm.
If you do a search, it'll find both the page and the blog post because it searches everything in the site, not just your blogs, which is
Right.
great for your website actually. And that brings us to a point when we start to talk about SEO, why SEO is good to do on the fly and not coming back to a site. So we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so that's about everything you see on the front. Well, let me back up. This part right here is your header up here. And of course, this is your body inside here. So that's about everything you know or see on a WordPress site. No matter what theme you have, it'll have those same components, either turned on or off. So, like some sites will have no header. So if it's turned off, well, of course you won't have one. But those are areas that you normally can control. So now that we know how the front end works, let's look at the back end of WordPress by normally going here and hitting dashboard, but I'm gonna do it like this. And this is what you see if we go to the dashboard. What you're welcomed with on the dashboard are these little window panes, okay, that you can drag around and put wherever you like, okay? They are controlled and viewed by also this thing called screen options. So if we hit this, we can turn some of those off. Like, I don't really care about quick draft. I never use a quick draft for a post. And I'll use post and blog in the same breath. They're all the same. It's really posting a blog is what it really is. Okay. This WordPress event, I'll turn that off. And of course, that big old welcome screen I turned off before. Then we can roll that back up, and it'll remember from then on. You can move this stuff around however you like it. Okay, it's about picking up the top of it. You can also roll them up, roll them down, that kind of thing. That'll move it around. This will roll up the inside and make it not visible. Moving over to the left-hand side, well, before I even go there, if you look at the bottom of this, it'll show you what version of WordPress you have in this bottom corner here. which is good to know because a lot of times when you install plugins or things, it'll ask you, it'll tell you it can only work in certain versions of WordPress. So you want to know what your version is. WordPress also uses, at the host level, PHP version 7.4. That's what you want to be for the current system. If you're not, then you'll start to have issues with some plugins and things that might not have the capabilities that it's calling for because the code isn't there. Normally, the stuff is backward compatible, but not forward compatible. All right, let's move over to the left side, and this will be your navigation for your dashboard. I won't go in order of this because it don't make sense in order. So I'm going to start off with settings. When you first install a WordPress site, there's two things you really want to do when you get started so you can set how your website is going to be seen. For instance, when we go to the front of this website, it's designed so when you go there, it's going to show the blogs as your home page. Well, suppose you want it to be a static home page and your blogs to be in some, tab. Okay, so you have to change that. So under settings, under reading, that's where that happens. Now I'm going to go down the top all the way to the bottom of this, and you will see what I'm talking about. So first off, if we go to settings in general, this is how we set up things that are some basics. For instance, our site title. Notice this has the same name as right there and as right there, because that is where the site title is. Also, there's something called a tagline. Tagline shows up on some themes and don't on others. Notice up here, I don't see it. Okay, so it might be turned off, or it might not even be visible in this theme. The next thing is your WordPress address. I own a business called Business in the Black, and it stands for We Keep Your Internet Business Out of the Red. Has nothing to do with color. But I have this in a subfolder called WP. Notice up here that the site is WP and then goes on with all the WordPress stuff. Now, normally you'd put it in a root that's right off your domain. The reason why I put it in here because I have another website there, and also hackers sort of want to know, they see the domain, they don't see the subdomain. So it gives a little level of privacy or protection. This other area has the ability to say, okay, this is what I'm going to show people, but this is where I'm actually going to put my website. So don't modify that unless you know what you're doing. You'd have to almost copy all the contents from here into wherever this that you're pointing to. Even though people will see this, but this is where your site will stand. Another thing for security. The next thing you want to do always is notice how this domain is businessintheblack.com. Well, you want your email address based on the same domain, because many hosts won't let the website send out data like from a contact form if the email address doesn't match the domain that it's sitting on. It looks like a spam to it, so it blocks it from sending it out. And I have a lot of clients that have done that. They'll have a website and they put in like their Gmail account or whatever it is, and their website won't send them information from their feedback form. It's because the system's blocking it. Now, if you want to do that, you'd make an email address and have it forwarded to your other email. Next, you have whether people can log on or not. If you turn that on, make sure that when they do register, they fall in as a subscriber and not an administrator. If you had this as administrator, if someone logged in, registered, they'd get their little registration thing and they'd instantly become an administrator, take over your website and lock you out. Okay, so it defaults to subscriber. Make sure you keep it that way, or other stuff, but not administrator, depending on how you have your website set up. Next is the time zone. The system wants to know the real time zone where you are, because if you have a website that's international, which all websites are, well, let's say by nature they are, but you can block people from different countries if you want by a plugin. But let's say it's wide open. You want to make sure that your time zone gives you the proper time right in front of you. That way the system knows where it really is sitting. So if it gets someone from another time zone, for it to modify the dates and times to match where they are. Okay. This is good if you have a calendar of events and things like that. Let's say you had a calendar, you didn't have that set up, and you had a meeting for, next month on the 5th. Well, to another country, it could be on the 6th or on the 4th, depending on where they are, time zone wise. And the way to test that is this is in military time. Okay, so it's anything over 12, you add 12 to it. In this case, it's 140 and 134 should be, so it should be 12 should be 1334. Notice it's wrong. So I'm going to change that. Let's see, we change it to, let me see, I think it's -4 here. See if that works. And 1444. So I think I'm a little off. So make it -5. Yep, see, 1334, because I'm in the East. So my time zone is East Coast, so I picked that. So that sets that up correctly. These other two things, I just leave them default. It's just how the system will display your date and your time. I have no problem with how they're doing it, so I don't want to change it, and it won't modify anything. This also sets where your calendar might come up when it first starts. I'm a Monday kind of guy. Some people are a Sunday kind of guy for the first start of the week. And then when you're done, of course, hit save. Okay. Next, we have something called, under settings, called writing. This modifies how your defaults are for when you write a post. In this case, my post, when I start a post, are going to default as uncategorized, because I haven't made any categories under posts. So under posts, I'd have to make categories here before I could have this adjust itself to be some specific category. The next part is something no one ever uses, okay? But I'll tell you what it does. Let's say you have this website, like for instance, this is businessintheblack.com. I have an email address with admin@businessintheblack.com. Well, I can make something like private@businessintheblack.com. Use this in this email, set this up, and tell it what category I want it to go. And I can email that specific email address I created, and the website will pick it up and post it for me in my blogs. Okay. Any question about that? That thing's complicated. No one ever uses it, but it's there. So you can make your site post up. Like, let's say you're out in the field somewhere and you just want to say something to your viewers. You can write an email to your website. It'll post it for you, and you can keep on going. And you keep that private, so no one else knows about it. I never use it, but it's there. And make sure when you make these changes to save changes. Next, and this is what I was talking about before, of how people come back and see your site. Well, when they come to your site, what they see. So under settings and reading, this says, how do you want people to read my website? Right now it's set to latest posts. Notice when you get here, when you just go to the URL itself, it defaults right into your first blog post. You can modify that so it goes to a static page, and we can use the sample page if we want. Now I'm going to go back and change this in a minute because we really don't want to set it up this way, but normally you have to create a page for your homepage, and you create a page for all your blogs to go, and you set those. So let me just save this just to show you right quick. I'm setting it now to go to this static page of sample page when somebody goes to the website. So if I reset this, watch what happens. See, now it's going to the sample page when somebody first logs into the URL. Now, in reality, we want to go in here under pages, look at our pages. Notice there's a couple pages here. We want to go ahead and modify that one that says sample. And just by clicking on edit. And what are we looking at? We're looking at all this garbage, right? So I'm before I even do this, show you how to get rid of all this garbage. Let's go back, and we're going to go to plugins, and we're going to turn on something called Classic Editor. So if you don't have it, you'd have to go and say add plugins and go get that. It's free. So and I already got it just for saving time. So I'm going to change my stuff to classic editor and classic widgets. So I'm going to turn these on, do a bulk, activate, and activate them. Okay. And they are now activated because they're showing. The only thing I can do is deactivate them. So now let's go back to our pages like we were. We want to edit this one. So if you go to pages, you see your pages, you can hover over them. You have the ability to edit, quick edit, which I never use, trash them, or preview them. You can also add a page here, or you can add a page there. So we're going to edit this page for right now. And don't worry about what I'm doing in the page because I'm going to go over that. Did I ever hit the button? All right, so I'm going to now change this to home. Also, this is the permalink. A permalink is what the URL is going to look like when you make this. And since it says nothing here, I'm going to go ahead and leave that because that's just falling into the root. There's no name on the end of it. So we'll just leave that the way it is. And instead of going all over this stuff, I'm going to update it. And I'm going to add one more page. I'm just going to call it blog. And put nothing in it. Just publish it. And notice it says, blog as the URL. Whatever your URL plus the name of the title of your page. And I'll show you where that's set up at. But first, we'll go back to the settings under reading. Now that we got our pages properly, we'll set our static page to home. And wherever we put our blog posts, we'll put them in the blog. This shows how many blogs will show when we look at the blog page because they all go into one place. This also shows how many of these blogs will you allow to syndicate to other people's websites if you want to do it. This also shows if you're going to show all the blogs fully open or just excerpts of those pages, of those blogs, which is what I would do. Because it could be really long if you have a whole bunch of blogs. Because you have 10 of them fully open, that page would be forever. And then also at the moment, because we're working on a site, we want to discourage the search engines from looking at our site. So let's keep that like that for right now. Save the changes, flip over here, and let's see what we changed. So we hit that. Notice now it says home. And now we have another tab up here called blogs. So we hit blogs. Now there's the blog. So if we add in the blog, they'll just be on this blog page. Okay. So our site is now set as a website first, blog second, not a blog first with static content second. Okay. Everybody got that? Or did I make you go to sleep?
I think I got it.
Okay. Remember, there are only two of us. So if you have something, just tell me right now. I can go right over it. Okay. She understands. So what did you miss? Is there anything?
Oh, I didn't miss anything.
Okay. All right. So
I was just gonna say that I normally use WordPress, like you said, the one where you just log in.
yes.
But I have GoDaddy hosting, and I have tried to host a WordPress. So I'm interested in both kinds. I just don't. Yeah, I'm just absorbing everything you're saying, basically.
Okay. All right. Well, then you see how you can do it both ways. And
Yeah.
in your case, because you're probably showing your images and stuff, being a blog first might make sense. You want them to see the latest and greatest artwork that you have, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right. But if you're building a website for like a business, you probably want them to see your intro or your homepage first, and then let them go, meander all around the site to see stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how you change that right here.
Okay.
The next thing is when we have a system that can have blogs, we have the ability to, control how people have discussions with their blogs. So under settings, under discussion, that's how you control that. So if you have these blogs and people can comment on it and all that kind of stuff, even if you have your pages set that people can comment on them, which I wouldn't understand why, but you can do that. Then here's where you control it. It's real self-explanatory, but there's a few things I'll tell you to deal with first that you really want to take heed to. That is whether people need to be logged in or not when they make a comment. I personally want people to be registered before they make comments, although you'll probably knock your comments down by a bazillion because a lot of people don't want to register to nothing. So if you leave that open or not, then come down here to make sure you get an email when someone makes a comment, and also turn on a comment is held for moderation, because they could be putting all kind of stuff in your site, and normally it's rude and crude, you know. I mean, really rude and crude. I learned that the hard way when I built a Southern Baptist website, and they were pretty rude and crude because I didn't have that on. Next, this next line is a funny little line, and the way it comes by default is not too good, because see what it says here. It says, before a comment appears, basically on your website, that a comment must be manually approved. I would turn that on, but it defaults to a comment author must have previously approved a comment 2 times, basically, and then from that point on, they'll just go in without approval. Well, a good hacker would say, okay, the first 2 comments I'm going to do are nice. The third comment, I'm going to put in naked people and all kind of stuff and Viagra stuff. So you don't want to do that. You want to turn that on and turn that off. Manually approve everything. Okay. The next 2 lines allow you to trap stuff. So you can trap stuff when it contains certain words and convert it with another word. Or you can disallow stuff. I think this is the one that traps and makes it another word. And this one, you can trap out people and make them so they can't even comment at all. See right here, because you can block them by word, IP address, and all that stuff. I sort of don't do that. You know, I've never had anybody really that terrible. And then all the comments I get, I'll throw them into spam instead of worrying about this thing. So now underneath this area, remember I showed you where the avatar is right here? That avatar, or this little teeny avatar? That's controlled right here under avatars, whether it's shown or not. Also, the rating of your website is shown here. You want to make it a G, unless you truly are a R and X rated website. Okay. Because even if you make a PG, you'll block out so many searches that it makes your site almost unseen. Next, you can set how the default avatar even works. I use something called a gravatar. So if you go to gravatar.com, you can upload your avatar, and any website that you use your email address based on that avatar, it will go and pull the gravatar for you. So your little icon will show up everywhere without you having to upload it. They pull it from the gravatar site. Then you have this other stuff, which is sort of self-explanatory. It's AI generated, and some mystery person thing is what I'm not right now. I'm a mystery person right now. Okay. And then, of course, save changes again. Next, there's media on your website. So when you look at a website, any page on a website, if it has images or whatever, videos, that's media. You have the ability to control that media under settings and media. Now, this is also important. And WordPress is actually very good for this, although it also produces another problem. For instance, when you use your camera, and especially for you, Ada, no, not Ada. What's your name? The one who's talking with me? Let me see.
I'm Lydia.
Lydia, because you're not in my text box, so I didn't remember the name.
That's okay.
Okay, so Lydia, I know you're an artist, and your photos are probably really humongous coming out of the camera. Okay, so what WordPress has the ability to do is you upload an image to the WordPress, it will make basically 3 other sizes of that image. It'll make a large size, which is normally the default for like a full screen. Okay. It'll make a medium size, which is the default for what's inside of content that wraps around it or not, like a newspaper article with a picture in it. And it'll make a thumbnail, which is like this little guy right here, like this little thumbnail. Okay. Now, it also leaves in the original. So for every image you upload that's bigger than this large size, you'll have 4 versions of it. The giant one that was the original, the large, the medium, and the small. That means every picture you upload is 4 times itself on your server. You can change that, however, by making some of these not even function. You definitely want these first 2. But if you upload sizes and keep them within this size, why even have this? You can make this size like gigantic, so it'll never even work. So the maximums never get hit, so it'll never produce this 3rd kind of image. So then what you'd have is the thumbnail, the medium, and then your original, instead of a thumbnail, a medium, a large size, and the original. Now, if you keep it under this, this won't work at all anyway. So when you upload something that's 900 by 900, then it won't satisfy this condition. So you'll still only have the thumbnail, the medium, and then your original. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna move this over here so I can get to it quicker. All right. See my mouse going outside the screen because I'm fooling around with the other screen I'm looking at. Okay. And then of course, where it says when you upload files, have it organize my uploads into month and year. Now this is only good. It's actually good to do this, to turn it on, because when you go to the main website, notice how it says archives here by hitting November. It's only doing that because it knows that where this came from, because we told it when we upload the media to save it, based on this. Okay, so that's what that's for. Do see your chat. He says Ida, right? Or no, Ada, I'm sorry, Ada. All right, so that's that. Now, remember I showed you how when we made a page, let's say we had a blog page, or we said home. Home is different because it'll rip off the name of home, because we don't need to know home is the word home. But any other thing, like when we do blog, notice how it says blog. We control this right here, which is called a permalink, by this area right here, under permalinks, under settings, permalink. This is how they're set up. Now, I don't like to use this day and name thing. I will use the post name. So it's just the URL and then whatever name you make your page or your post, and that will be your URL for that page. Why I do this is because it makes it more search engine friendly. Okay, you can make up some crazy one too, but I'm not. We're not going to do that. Let's save it. The reason why it's so good is let's say you had your resume on your website, right? You could just name your resume, and I'll show you on my website, which is darnellsmith.com, which you don't want to go there or you'll be in my world. But if we go resume, watch. It shows my resume. Okay. It makes it search engine friendly. So if the system was scanning it, it'd know that resume is a resume instead of it being, website question mark P equals 123. You see what I'm saying? It's not logical. So that's how you set that up. Now, WordPress also in the later years gave you this thing called privacy, because Google has requested all websites to be private, have a privacy statement, or you could be sued. So remember that. Have a privacy statement on your website. And it produces one for you. So if you hit this, it'll create one. And in this case, it already had created one. So we go look at that under pages, because it's a static page. And we look at privacy. Notice it puts in all this basic stuff. All the things you need to know, blah, 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 about cookies and embedded content and all this kind of stuff. You can go back and modify it, to suit your own whatever, but leave all the other stuff in there because it's already set up, legally to be correct. And then, of course, you want to make it part of your website. When it first comes to your system, it's already a draft where it's not published. So I'm going to go ahead and publish it, which you have the ability to change all kinds of things, make it, password protected and all this kind of stuff. We're just going to publish it. Now when we go to our website, we go look at the actual website itself. You'll notice there's now a tab up there that says privacy policy. The home, blog, privacy policy. Okay. You go back to the dashboard. That is all the setups you need to do really in the system. Now, from this point forward, we can go in and look how the website actually works. So let's now start back up at the top. At first, are there any questions on what I've said so far?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, so we're moving on. All right. Now, a post is like a blog post. It has the ability to have categories and tags. Tags, of course, are things like, let's say you made a post about golden retrievers, okay? Or so a tag could be golden retrievers. The categories of that post could be dogs, okay? The way you see that all the time in the real world is like on a website that is a news site. And I have one, for example. If we go to, let's say, Smart News, see these tabs right here? Those are categories of blogs. These are all blogs in here. So if I hit that category, it's going to the entertainment category. It just shows all the blogs that fit that category. If I go to politics, it just shows all the politics. That's what good that category thing is when you actually produce blogs. Okay? The tags inside could be, let's say you want to look at politics, but you want to only see stuff about Trump. Then the tag could be Trump. And then you just hit in Trump and you'll see all the stuff about Trump. Or if it's Biden, or if it's DeSantis in this case. Excuse me. All right, so that's what we use there. Let me go back to this, back to that. That's post. Now, a page and a post are only different in the fact that pages are static and posts are dynamic, meaning that when you post a post, it goes into a philo system, first in, last out of the system. So they push, you put them in, they just stack on top of each other. So the latest post will show up inside your post. Pages, on the other hand, they show themselves up in the actual menu. Although now you can control that menu, take them out or whatever, but that's where they show up. So you want to make a page have a small title to it, but you want to make a post have a full sentence for it, because their SEO, your search engine optimization, will pick that up. Okay, so you can make it as long as you want, because you don't put a post in as a title of a, in your tabs. So let's go ahead and look at those. So we're going to go ahead and create a post. We can do that a couple different ways. We can go up here to say plus a post. So add new post, or we can go over here under post and say add. Or when we're on all posts, looking at all the posts we have, we can say add right here. So let's go ahead and add one. So what we have right here, if you have the classic editor on, if you don't, it has a block editor. It looks so much different. It's just that everything's broken up in blocks, and I don't like it that way, but you can as you get better at it. I'm doing this for 20 years and I still don't like it. I'll keep it classic, because if you expand this, it looks like a little mini Word. It looks like Word, like Microsoft Word when you edit the thing. There's also much better editors that you can drop and drag all kind of stuff in place. But this is the basics, and you can go further if you want by adding in new plugins to give you more features and stuff. Okay. So in this case, remember, this is our title of our post. Because it's a post, we can make this as long as we want. And since I was talking about dogs, we'll do the same thing. We'll say, this is a post about yellow labs. And probably I think it should be capital. Yes, labs. We can make that as long as we want. Now it's going to create a post, a URL that looks just like that, but that makes it actually search engine friendly. Next, we're going to go over here and make sure we have it in the right category. So we can add categories on the fly. Instead of going here and making our category, we can add them as we go. So I'm gonna add a new category and I'm gonna say it's dogs. And then hit add it. So now it's selected that category for this post. We can also add some tags. Go down here, we can say tags. We can make a tag of dogs. Add that. We can add a tag of yellow dogs. Add that. And since we might be doing some puppies, we might even do puppies. Okay, and that becomes like little search words inside that, like micro searches inside of this post. There's something else on Pages and Posts called a featured image. Now, depending upon the theme you're using for your website, the featured image can do a couple different things. It can be the top of the post when it shows, like a little header. It might not even show up at all, but it might be taken as the image used when you share it to social media. And if it doesn't, I actually add a plugin to make my featured image always my shareable social media image. That way I can control it. Because if you don't, the first image you put in your body content becomes the picture that you share to social media when you share your post, even when you get rid of it. Because remember, those images don't go away when you delete them out of here. They're always in the system, and your system will remember it. So if you put a picture here and don't have a setup where it can remember this one or whatever, it's going to remember that one for the rest of its natural life. So let's go ahead and make a post, and we're going to go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say Yellow Labs. I'm going to search for Yellow Labs. So I'm stealing content right now. So we go on a website and we find something, because I just don't want to write all this stuff. So I'm just going to grab this body content and I'm going to post it in here. Okay. And because I want a little bit more, let me try to get something else. But here's some more stuff, just so I can have more content on my page. Here's another little trick. If I press the return key, it drops me 2 lines. If I hold the shift key and press return key, it only drops me 1 line. That works on everything. So remember that. Okay. So I dropped that that's a whole paragraph difference. But if I wanted to make it close, if I hit shift and hit enter, it just goes right there. That works on Facebook, that works on anything. Works in Word. Okay, so now we have like a little, something that looks cute. We need to add a picture to this. Remember, that's our media. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to steal a picture of a little yellow lab. Let's get something that's cute. So we'll hit images. Now you don't want to do this in real life because those images on your website, somebody can sue you for it. But right now I'm just going to grab this one. I'm going to right click it and save it. And I'll just save it to my downloads. Save it. Then I'll go back to my website, put my cursor wherever I want it to go. I'm going to put it on this side right here, this first one. Hit add media. And I'm going to upload it. If I had it already in there, I could get it from my media gallery. But I don't. I also could have pulled it from the URL without even uploading it. But you want to upload things because if you pull it from the URL, if somebody changes that URL, they change your site. They could, and it's happened to me before too. So select it. Now let's look at how big it is first. See how it's 1,000 by 728. That's its real size. Open it. Now, here's where you want to SEO it. It's a yellow lab. So we're going to put in as our alt text, yellow lab. Because when people hover their mouse over an image, then it means that it show what this alt tab is. It's in the alt tab. That's part of SEO. All right. And if you want to put something in the caption, it's actually going to attach itself to the bottom of the image. So we don't want to do that right now. You know what? I'll do it just so you can see it work. So yellow lab puppy. That's going to actually show up at the bottom of this image. Then in this description area, because it's being searched on the internet, you want to put in also yellow lab. Let's change this all title. It's going to pull it from the file name. I'm going to make it like that. In the description, I'm going to say yellow lab at my website, blah, 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 whatever your website is, because this is what will pull up when people do an image search and they click on it, it goes right to your website. Okay. We can make it so that, well, let me go continue. That is the actual file URL for that image uploaded. So if you needed to look at that, you could actually just copy it, go to another website, another page, click it in and see that's the actual URL. Watch, see, it pulls it up. Notice where it is. It's been saved in a folder based on the year and based on the month because we turned that feature on. Okay. Let's go back to this. Now we have alignment. We can adjust here, or we can adjust it while we get it. But like now, let's go ahead and make it left justified, meaning the words are going to wrap around the right side of it. If somebody clicks on that image, we can either say do nothing, or make it open up the actual image, or open it up as a full page, or make it go somewhere else. Let's say we wanted to go somewhere else and they click it. Let's say we want to go to this area where we found it. Go get that URL, put that in there. And we want to use the medium version. Notice we only have 3 sizes because remember, we didn't reach the 1024 to produce that 4th version. So we have the full size was uploaded, the medium, and the thumbnail. We'll use the medium to be left justified. If we're all done, insert it and look at it. Shows up nice and cute. The words wrapped around it the way we set it to do that. If we don't like it, we can just click it and change it. Put it on that side, or put it in the middle, or do nothing. I like it like this. Okay. While we're in here, we can also link other stuff. Let's say we want to link this word to some place. We click that link and paste. We can hit the settings and say, since that's an outside page, let's open that in a whole nother tab and update that. Get away from it. Notice that's hyperlinked. And you can do all these different things in here. You can bold stuff if you like. Change colors. The same thing you would do inside of like a Word. You can make these. You can add plugins to make this more complicated or less. So if we like all this, and we're not done yet, we haven't picked a featured image. So let me go find an image that will represent this page. I know for a fact that normally featured images inside a theme like this are horizontal in nature. They become the header above the page. So let's look for an image that's more horizontal than not. So like here's one. This is a little more horizontal than it is vertical. We want it horizontal. So let's go ahead and save that also. Do that. And then go back here, add that featured image. Now we don't have any control over it when it's a featured image. It's going to do what it wants to do. And let's go ahead and get that. And I can sort of tell. Notice we also want to SEO it. So we'll say yellow lab. We can just say this is an adult yellow lab. That's if you want to put something underneath the picture. We'll see that in a minute. Description, of course, put the same stuff in there, but put more information about your website there. Could be your phone number, your website, whatever, and all that. And notice we don't have that other ability to pick which type it is or URL or whatever to link to. So we just insert that and notice it goes right there. Okay. So now we have that picture. We have a featured image for this post. We're all ready. We can save it as a draft so we can come back to it. It won't go to the website, but it'll be a draft. Or we can make it visible by a password only, or visible if you're an admin. That's the private. In this case, we're just going to keep it public. We can also make it a sticky post. Means that it stays at the top no matter how many times you make posts. This post stays at the very top of all the posts. That's what sticky posts stand for. Okay. In this case, we'll just leave it as public. We can also publish it in the future, or we can publish it in the past. Now, why you want to do something maybe in the past? Because when Google people scan your site, it looks like the site's older than it really is. You can publish it in the future. That way you can set up stuff and go on vacation, and your website will keep posting stuff for you while you're gone, looking like that you're at your website. So let's just leave it the way it is. It's going to pick the immediate time. All this stuff is correct. You can also pick more than one category if you want it. And we're ready. Notice it says publish. We click publish, and notice it changes to update. That's how you know that you've already published this page. That the only thing you can do now is make updates to the page. So update is like save, save, save. Now that we did that, let's go look and see what the website did. When we went home, notice it doesn't show up. It's because it's inside of the blog page. We have blog, and look at that. They got this one that's sticky. I know it says uncategorized. Notice it shows the category we created. There's that little name I told you about. When you put it on the actual picture itself, notice this one has it right on the picture itself. We normally don't do that. Okay, and there's your content. Notice that there's your little what do you call them, tags. So if we were to hit any one of these tags, let's say how good this is. Let's say we go home and somebody wants to search your website for puppies. It came up inside the dogs, and it pulled up the one that matched puppies. And we can go ahead and click it. And there is your puppy. Okay. Notice it's inside of the blog page. Any questions so far? All right. Let's go back here. Now that's a post. Let's go look at a page. So we flip down here on the pages. You can look at all our pages. We can add a page from here. We can add a page from there. We can add a page from up here. So in this case, let's just go ahead and add a page. Notice it looks almost the same, but it doesn't have category or tags. That's the only difference. So we can go ahead and say, how about making a about page? Some people say about us. I'll just say about. And let's go get some content. And because I don't want to write nothing, I was going to get the same kind of content we got here. Go back to where it was, paste that in there. Again, we can grab some kind of media. Notice it remembers all the stuff that we were doing. Let's get rid of this caption so I can show you the difference. Remember, when you get rid of it here in the media area, you get rid of it across your board, across the website if you use this media over again. And we would just get the right version of it. In this case, we don't want to link it to anything. We'll link it to nothing and insert it. And remember, I didn't move my mouse. I can just grab it, stick it here, and it'll, oh, should be right there. So it'll just go over that way. Featured image again. I'll just use that. When we are satisfied with that stuff, now ignore page attributes. We don't even care about this because I'm going to show you where we take care of this visually. So just ignore that page attributes. That's the old way of setting up the pages in their hierarchy. Publish it. If we go to the website, refresh it. Now we have a page about. Hit it. Notice how the header, that featured image is the header of the page also. And some themes it will not be. It won't show up at all. All right, so that's a page. Now, notice how they just threw themselves in any old order in here. Looks like they're doing alphabetical is what's happening here. We can control that because now we know how pages work. Notice it made the URL, with the about word, about, and then it says about. We can go under appearances now and hit menus. And we can control the menu. Since we don't have one, it's making a menu for us. So we need to make a menu. We'll say it's the primary menu. And it will be we can automatically add it to the system when we add them, top level pages. And we will make it the desktop horizontal menu. This will modify itself. Everything has different versions of where you can put menus. So we're just going to use the horizontal desktop menu. We can also make it also the mobile menu. So whatever we put here will be mobile too. save it, so you can create the menu. The hit, I'll create the menu. Now that we have the menu, we need to add stuff to it. So we hit all, we can select all that stuff, add it. Now we can move this stuff around. We can move it and make it a sub page if we want by just sliding it over to the right. You put it back as a top level page by keeping it at all left justified. So we'll say we want our about page over here. We'll put our privacy policy underneath our about as a sub page. We'll leave a blog out here. If we're okay with that, we can also modify the name if we really wanted to. We can change that label on the fly if we wanted to, even though we didn't change it on the page itself. Save it, go back to the website, and notice the menu changed. Now it has home, about, and a sub menu called privacy policy. We can change that sub menu just as easy by just pulling it out and saving it. Go back, hit that, notice it's pulled out now. And it's in the order that we specified. Okay. We just figured out how posts work, pages work. Now I'll jump back to to media. Media just shows all the media that you have in your system. So you can click on that media, you can do stuff with it. Even though it's in the system, you can make changes to it. You can go and add more descriptions and different things to it if you like. You can even edit the image from within here, and you don't have to go back and change it on your site. It just take the new edit. You can literally change the image and it'll replace it. You can look at your other content, just one after other. You can see it in a couple different ways. You can make it in a list, up and down. That's the old way. Or you can make it in tiles. Okay. You can search for media. And it's only able to be searched if you actually gave it a name. So if we say, I think this is going to bring up both actually, because I think I named all these the same. Lab, yep. So if I would have given different names, I got to search for individual lab. If I type in lab now, it's just going to show both of them. Lab. It shows both of the same ones. Okay. Because you have tons of these things in here. You have to find those images. Especially if somebody said, hey, you're using my image, take that off the website. Well, you need to go find it and kill it. All right, so that's post, media, pages. Comments, on the other hand, remember we had a comment. I don't know if we had a comment or not. We hit comments, you can see your comments. You can either unapprove, since this one is approved. You can reply to that comment. You can quick edit it. I don't like quick editing anything. It doesn't let you do images. You can edit it. You can spam it. Now, I would say if you get comments that are spam, put them in spam. If not, they'll just come right back. If you throw them in the trash, they'll just come right back. Okay. So that's that. Let's look at appearance. Appearance, we already did menus. So let's look at the theme. So theme is how you pick a different theme. So right now, this is the theme that's active. Let's go ahead and make this active. Now let's go look at the website. It doesn't change anything. Doesn't change your content, but it just changed the way it looks. Notice the about looks the same. Blogs look the same. Privacy policy looks the same. Okay. Go back home. Notice in this theme, we actually have a sidebar. That sidebar actually has stuff in it. Remember, I told you some themes have sidebars, some themes don't. This one actually has a sidebar. Okay. We go back to that theme. We can also do stuff like customize. We hit customize. Everything is totally different. So this is how you customize that theme. This is visually customizing it. So we can look at site identity. Remember, we set that up earlier. So we can make a tag. Let's say the tag is all about labs. And notice it shows up right there. We can select the logo for it. Let's pick up a lab. Pick up that little guy. Crop the image. Oh, it's too big to crop. So you might get that error because those images, it wants to only be a certain size. The same way with this little guy. This little image should be 16 by 16 because it's the little image that shows up in here in the URL area. that little teeny image. So it wants to be 16 by 16. But if it's square by up to 512, it'll make it shrink down to the 16. But apparently the logo was too big for it to downsize. So we couldn't use it. Go back. We can change some colors if we like. We can change the background if we want to put an image on the background if we like. See what it looks like if we do it. See it back there on that edge? So change the image background. We can make it so it's the full, or we can stretch it to fit. If it's tiled, which is, I think it's what it's doing now, it'd be a whole bunch of versions of itself. If we fit it to the screen, you can see how it modified. We just can't see it. We can repeat the background image if we want, if the site becomes really long. But see how it stays still back there. And you don't have to publish until you do all this stuff. We can modify where our menus are right now if we wanted to from customize. We can play with widgets, and we're going to do that in a minute. We can modify the home stuff. Remember I told you how if you're logged in as a static image or logged in as a static page, or logged in as only showing your latest posts. If we do that right now, notice now when you get to the website, see, you're going to look at the posts first and your static pages are second. See? Put it back to static page. And if you know CSS, you can modify your theme by putting in some CSS and it'll take over the system. When we're done with our stuff, we just hit publish. Now that's live. So if we go and look at the site live, wrong one, have it hit home. Notice how it has our background back there. And it also says all about labs right there. Okay. All right, that's themes. Now, if we wanted other themes, you can go say add themes. And it's going to find all these themes. I mean, thousands of themes. If you purchase the theme, you can also say upload the theme, and you upload the zip file and it'll do what it has to do. Like I said, also, when you have themes, go back to the home of themes, if you don't use them, remove them. Also, some will have updates. So you just hit the little update right there and it updates itself. Should have did that. Now I gotta wait for it. Wait for a minute. Does this make sense so far? Everybody okay? I heard somebody might have dropped in, but so they can't go backwards now, but I did record it this time. I normally forget. Oh man, why did I update that thing? I think it's taking a while. I have really fast internet, but this thing is slow. Remember that your internet's only as fast as the page that it's trying to get it from. Could be slow for whoever's trying to pull it. At least they're not waiting on the internet. Any day now. Hello, Antonio. All right, so I'm waiting.
Hello. Sorry.
It's all right. It's recorded, so I'll post that later. Man, this thing's taking a while. It might even continue to update while I'm not even there. Oh, it's done, thank God. So if let's say I want to try that one, I'll just say activate it. Some things want you to install all this crap. See right here? I'm not going to install all the stuff they want, so I'm just going to ignore that. Let's see what it made it look like. Don't look much different. It's about. Notice now here, I'm glad I did this. Notice I told you featured images sometimes show up, sometimes don't. We know we have a featured image for this page, but notice it doesn't show up anywhere at all. If we go to blogs, notice that if we go to this one about labs, that the featured image becomes the header for that blog. So in this case, it does work on the blogs, but on pages it doesn't affect the thing. Okay. Now what I wonder is, if I were to try to share this to social media, what picture does it take? I'm not going to share it, but I'm going to get ready to share it. Let's say if I go here, what picture does it pull? It could pull an old picture. Notice it doesn't pull anything. So it's not saved enough for it to remember. It's not in the cache enough for it to see it. Normally it would pull one of those pictures up there. Oh, I know why it's not, because I have BIB blocked out of the system. They're not going to pull anything from me. All right, let me go back. All right. And that's themes. Some themes have their own editor. Like it'll be over here, like it'll say, oh, there, like this one. So you notice we installed this theme called Ocean WP. Instead of we just hitting customize, it has its own little thing. It has its own little editor. Look at all this stuff. We can install, demos or whatever. Let's see what it says. So it's got some demos. I'm not going to do that, but it's all this stuff. Matter of fact, I'm going to take this thing out of here because it's cluttering up my system. Let's put back in the one we were using a minute ago. Which one was that? Was it 2016? You can also live preview something too. If it's installed, if you live preview, it'll show you what it would look like with your own content. But if it's not installed, you do preview, it's going to show the preview of what their content was. So I am going to, I'll just activate that one. Go back to the website, hit home, it should be different. And it is. Okay, back to its normal self. I wanted this one because it had sidebars on it, because we're going to work with widgets. Remember, widgets show up in sidebars or in footer areas. Okay. So now let's move over to widgets. Widgets go in sidebars. Different themes have different sidebars. So if I were to activate, let's say, a different theme, let me get one that, let's see, let's activate this one. And go back to widgets by refreshing this. See, it's a whole bunch of different areas for putting stuff. See what the website looks like with that. Okay, so it looks like that. Notice it has a sidebar right here. Let's see where we can put stuff. Actually, I sort of like this theme. So nice and clean. All right, so let's go here to widgets. Let's throw some of these out. You can just pick these up and just toss them away. If you want to keep them, you drag them down here and put them under archives, and it'll stay right there. I don't even know what's in there. Just some comment stuff. Okay, so I don't need to keep them. I'll throw it away. And there's no save feature in here when you move things around in here. Let's say we want in the sidebar a search box. Let's find one. Here's a search. We can click it and say insert into, let me see. That's in the first sidebar. It's already selected. Add the widget. It shows up here. If we don't change its title, it's going to keep that where it is. But we can modify that by hitting that and then hit save. We'll keep that one. We'll put in meta, which is a stupid name for the login stuff. We can pick it up and drag it if we want. We can change this to login, because I know that's what it's actually going to do. Save it. Let's say we want to put stuff in some of the footers. We can throw in a recent post. We throw it in the first. Oh no, that's not the first one. We throw it in the first footer. All right, so that's one. Let's see what it looks like. It's saved right while we're doing it right now. So we go back to the website and at home. Notice there's a search. There's the login stuff. And at the footer, look, there's the recent post right there. You go back, you can put in more stuff like the navigation. We literally can put in the menu inside the navigator. So we can just go take and add that to like the second footer and add it. And we can select the menu. We only made one menu, so we can say primary. We can call this menu if we want and say save it and watch what happens. Refresh the website. Notice there's our menu down there now. Notice it's splitting a difference for the footers. I mean, for these things. So we can pick this up and bring it over to only when we show a post. So notice we hit home. Notice it doesn't show up, not showing up. But if we hit a post, there's a blog post. And we hit a post, look at it. Now, I don't know if it did it or not. There's menu. Let me see where it, where we put it. Where we throw that thing? Post and newsletters in navigation. I don't know if that even worked. What was it that we put in there? We put in a menu. All right, so if I go to home, which is not a post, oh, it still shows up. About us, still shows up. So that didn't even work. So I don't know what they're saying here. Let's see if we pick it up. This says widget below the slider area. Okay, I didn't know this had a slider area. Apparently there's a slider area capable in this website. We hit it, see it shows up right there. That's where the slider or banner would have been. Let's go and take it out. We don't like that, so we pick it up and throw it away. And throw that one away. And we look at it again. If we refresh the site, it's gone, that's gone. Any questions on that, on the widgets? Remember that we can do widgets for all kinds of things. As you add more features with plugins, you'll grow more widgets. If you have a calendar plugin, you'll get calendar plugins. I mean, widgets. If you put in e-commerce, you'll get e-commerce little plugins, widgets. And that's going to take us over to, let's see if we are doing all that stuff. Yeah, this is all good. See, notice this has its own menu too. Look at this. Has its own little setup area. Demonstration, rate this thing. It's for a document, and they're trying to sell you the pro version. Oh, we can scroll down a little bit further where users, we didn't do everything else. We're going to jump into menu into plugins in a minute. But let's look at users. I am the user at the moment, but you can go and add users who can log in, and you can give them levels of security. Like in this case, you only need the username, email. You want to put their name and stuff. You can give them a password, let them generate it here, or automatic, and they'll get an email. They can go change it on their own. But you can make them a subscriber, or if you want another person to work on your website, you can make this person an administrator. So you have multiple administrators to your site, and you created that user. Okay, but I'm not going to do it. While you're in this area, you can also look at your own profile. So you can do stuff, put in more stuff for your profile. Like I can even change my, oh, I didn't want to do Gravatar, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to change it like that. Oh, I must have it set up so I can't modify it. Remember under settings, where's that at? Under discussion, is it? Right here, I'm only letting people have a mystery person. So if I say, just say generate it and save it. Do I have the ability to change my nope. It only wants me to pull it from my Gravatar. Isn't that something? I thought you could upload it, but apparently not. It pushes you out to the Gravatar stuff. Anyway, you can play with that. All right, so that was user. Tools is where you have the ability to import, export data and all this other kind of stuff. And if you add plugins that are like toolish kind of stuff, it'll show up, the menu will show up in here for it. Like a cache program or something like that, that will show up in here. Or something that might be like for viruses or something. The next thing that we want to look at, which is the last thing before we go into the e-commerce, which you have like another 30 minutes for, is plugins. This is where we add our little creature features. In this case, I've already downloaded some to save time. So let's say we don't have the ability to send out a feedback form. So we need to go find a form. So we go to add plugins, type in the word form, and you'll see all these forms that come up, and they're free. If you want to look at it, you can just hit more details. It'll show you what it can do, how many people have rated it, how many is installed, and you can look at a screenshot and see how it would look in your website. That's for everything. Now, so I've already installed this, so let's look at that. So we're going to go to our plugins just by hitting plugins again. I have a calendar, a little simple calendar, but we want to see forms. Here we go, forms. So I've already downloaded. I'm going to go ahead and activate it. Notice something's going to show up over here. Did I activate it? Oh yeah, still trying to activate. Now look, now we have something called forms here. So we can go ahead and look at the forms that are in there, which there are none. Let's go ahead and create a form. Already. I'm going to pick like some basic form you already have. Here's a simple one. So use that template. Save it. And then it uses something called short codes to be able to put into your website. All right, already. All right, so we saved it, I think. Let's save it. Hit embed. So we can either select a page to put into or create a new page for it. We're going to do it a different way. We're going to say first, let's get out of here completely. Should take us back to our website, and it does. Notice it has a form now in that list. See that right there? That's the short code. If we highlight that code, we can now go to a page or a post if you like, add a new page, and call it contact. Now, get all this commercial stuff up here. Contact. Or while we're in here, we can go and add form. If we've already created it, we can select it out of here. But if we don't, we can remember the short code and do that. It just puts this little code in here. Publish it. We don't need a featured image for this, unless we wanted one. We go look at the website. Notice there's a contact form, which we can modify in the menu. We can move it around if we like. We hit it, look, nice little feedback form. All ready to go. We hit what we want to hit, blah, 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 and say submit. And boom, it's out of here. So I should be getting that email eventually. That's how easy it was to add a form. Let's say we wanted to add through plugins a calendar. There's a little calendar. Activate the calendar. Now notice we should have a thing where we have a calendar somewhere, oh, there it is, my calendar. See, we can go get the short code for it. And let's see, it should tell us what short code we use. So this is all the stuff that we can have on that form, on that calendar. If we like the way it looks, we can just hit generate the short code. And there's a code. So we hit my calendar, copy it. Let's go make a page. Add a page. Call it calendar. Calendar. And paste it. Publish it. Go look at our website. Now we have another thing called calendar. Look at that nice, pretty calendar. All nice and pretty. Notice the URL is calendar. It's what we set our page to be. So SEO wise, it's whatever your site is, calendar. That's simple. To add stuff to the calendar, remember I told you, as you add more features, this add new is going to grow. Look, add new form. Now, it normally would have said add new event. I don't know why it didn't. Well, maybe it doesn't use that as a add new. Let's see. Nope. So you got to do it under calendar right here. See, add event. Then you got to add some event and it'll show up. All this stuff, it'll just show up on that calendar. Notice how they're still trying to ask for money because you just got that free thing. I mean, that's the whole deal. They read all this code. You want the money. But I'm just cheap. I try to use what I'm using and not pay for it. Anyway, now let's go ahead and add what we're here to learn, which is e-commerce support. We're going to activate e-commerce. It's a big plugin because now it's going to turn it into an online store. And I'll probably bounce around my other website to show you how it's being used, so I don't use so much, time. So it's going to install itself. And WooCommerce will produce pages for you to use for your store. So I'm going to show you how to set that up right quick. So let's wait and let that install. Everybody got everything so far? Any questions? You can type them in there or say it. All right. So notice that WooCommerce comes up and it'll walk you through setting it up. Okay. So I'm going to do that right now, just the way you would do it. So my address, my name, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to get no tips. Do that. And let's see, build WooCommerce. This is so they're going to watch your website. I'm going to say, nah, you don't need to watch my stuff. And what kind of industry? Well, I'm just going to say education. Continue. And will I have physical product? Of course, but I can also have, like, let's say you want to sell your music or software or your a book, like an ebook or something. You can say, yeah, I want downloads. And if you want subscriptions to your website, yeah, I want subscriptions. If you want to charge for membership, okay, yeah, memberships, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I want customized products. And let me see here. Display monthly prices. Okay, continue. Now, if it costs something, I ain't doing that. They're probably saying to get different plugins for this. I'm not doing that. Yes, that's business stuff, so I don't want that. I'll show you with plugins how to do this without paying this money they're talking about. It's taking a while, isn't it? I bet you they're trying to install the plugins for these two things. I shouldn't have selected these two. Or just wait. And if it does, I'm taking it off. Because it'll be a plugin. I know they're doing something because it's taking too long. All right, let me go back. All right, how many products to display? 1 to 10. Currently selling elsewhere? Nah, it's still my only place. I'm selling for a client. I'm gonna say no at the moment. Recommend my site. No, I'm not gonna recommend nothing. They'll be adding all kind of plugins to this thing. And I'm not gonna use their themes. I'm gonna use a theme I already have. So I'm gonna say continue. I want it to look like my own theme. So now we're back into the dashboard where we belong. The first thing we need to do, because it has produced pages now to work with our store. So the first thing we need to do, or what is this here? Add membership. Let me turn this stuff off. Okay. All right. First thing we need to do is, forgetting all this stuff right here, we need to go here to pages. Where are they at? No, not pages, but under appearance, and go to our menu and add these pages they've already added. See all the stuff they've added right here? Just click it, click it, click it, click it. Add it to our oh, they already added it. Look at that. They are added already. So now I got to remove it because now I got double of them. So I need to remove this, remove that. They already did it. They're getting too smart. So if we wouldn't have been there, we would need to add it to the menu. Now here's what I normally do. I normally will put shop first, the shopping cart as a sub, the checkout as a sub, and my account as a sub. Save it, and you can name that a different name if you like. Because look at the website right quick. And notice how now we have shop, cart, checkout, whatever. So if we hit shop, we don't have any product, so it's just going to be a blank page at the moment. We can also go to our cart, and there should be nothing in the cart. We can go to our checkout, and it's going to say, well, there's nothing in the cart. This puts us right back. We go to my account. Well, guess what? It should show, and it doesn't. How's that? There we go. So under my account, look, you got your own little dashboard as a, as a shopper. Got a little, it'll show your orders, your subscriptions, your downloads. You can modify your address from here. Well, that's weird. Look at that. It didn't know what to do with that right there. That has something to do with the theme. Watch this. We go and change our theme right quick while all this is in place. Let's pick a simple theme because we have this thing there. Let's pick something that we already know that works. Let's go back and look at this. Notice how it looks proper. Address. See how it looks right. So what we saw was a theme incompatibility with that plugin. Look, here's our details. So we can put in all that information. This is how it's supposed to look. So this shopping cart is ready to rock and roll. It's still got the menus the way it should be, okay? So now that we have it in place, we need to do stuff. So under WooCommerce, what we installed, we need to go to settings and set up some other stuff that it didn't set up. Like I got my address there. You need to make sure that the currency is all set up correct. And it is, looks like by default. We can look at our product stuff. We notice that it's using that page for our products. It's enabled an Ajax button set, which makes it float. See right here, weight, I don't use kilograms, I want pounds. I use centimeters, I'm gonna use inches. And I can enable all this stuff, sort of self-explanatory. Enable star ratings and reviews and all this stuff, save it. Now look, we have inventory control. If we want the system to manage inventory, so we can have it do all kind of stuff here. They can notify us if the stock is low, and if it gets to a certain threshold, when it notifies us, all that kind of stuff. You can even make it so out of stock stuff gets hidden from the catalog, or you leave it and it just says it's out of stock. Downloadable products. There's all these things you can do. Restrict how they download it, for how long, whatever. Approve download directories. You can pick the directory where you're going to save your downloads. It's already picked one right there. And advanced area, I don't know if I've ever looked in here. Enable table usage, use the table attributes, direct updates. I wouldn't mess with that. Shipping. You got to set up your shipping stuff. You can even block stuff out for certain zip codes. Like for instance, if you sell something that's only $5, you don't want somebody to be buying that thing from like, another country. It's gonna cost more than the $5. So you can adjust all that stuff. There's shipping options. How they show the shipping. They show the shipping inside your calculations or not. The classes for shipping, which I don't fully use that or understand that 100%. Under payments, this is how you set up your payment gateways. A gateway is like who's going to handle the credit card charges. Notice there's no PayPal in here. So you'd have to go and add the PayPal stuff. So that would be another plugin to add PayPal payments, okay? And I think I'm not going to set that up. Well, I guess I'll add it because you need to know that. So we have to freeze ourselves right here. Go to plugins, install plugins. And we need to go and add, well, it has payments. Let me see what they got in here in payments. See, this is a new plugin. So what they want to do is have you set it up. See, it has PayPal and all that stuff already in there. So if you hit finish setup, it's going to go and have me connect myself to PayPal and all that stuff. I don't want to do that right now, okay, because this is not a real site. But I can show you on one of my own sites. We can go to BIB, because I'm a web developer, so I have a web development site. If I log into it, and it's already set up, admin. Remember to get into your back office is WP admin based on your domain. This brings me to my login area. Whenever it happens. Log in. Now, this site's big, so it might take a minute. It's also 21 years old. Remember, these sites are database driven, so what you see when you get to a site is not what it's really doing. So I have a lot of stuff in here. So let me go here to my WooCommerce under settings. And we go under payments. And you should see there's more stuff here. Now I have, see PayPal standard set up. So if I were to manage that, so you got to enable, you got to get all this information from PayPal. It pulls all this stuff and it sets it up. It's all these keys and different things. The system will set that up for you, but you need to have a PayPal account set up if you want to use PayPal, that is. But they have other different kind of things, but I like PayPal because I've been using it for many, well, I'll use it when they started. But you set that up. Once that's set up, then you can go back and use the system. Let me go back to the settings. This is the one we were working on. So we're going to ignore payments, okay? Whoop, I hit the wrong button. I need to go WooCommerce settings. We're going to ignore payments. But see, there's the account privacy stuff. So you can link this to your privacy statement when you check out. Notice how they put it in here and it has the privacy policy already there. So if you have a privacy policy, it will come up when they get a checkout, okay? Email integration, all the stuff you need to set up. These are like common emails that are sitting there. You can modify these emails like to your customers and stuff, okay? Integration. Those are some of the license setup. This thing right here is the path that PayPal requires sometimes. So just ignore all that. You got subscriptions, multi-currency, all this kind of stuff. We don't need to deal with that stuff. So let's say it's all set up. We can go into the system and start adding things. Like, well, let me back up. You can look at your orders. So if I hit orders, let me see, this is the fake site. I go over this site and hit orders. You'll see what the orders look like. See, these are all the orders. Sometime if they're processing, they didn't go all the way through, but these did, so I'm not going to worry about it. If I go in here and change that to like it's done, it's going to send them an email, so I'm not going to do that. They might think that they owe money or something. So anyway, that's taken care of. Go back to this. You have subscriptions. If you have that turned on, notice how it needs to be set up. We're not going to do it right now because I clicked it by accident. This will show your customers like have already bought from you. If you look at the real site, if I hit customers, you'll notice you'll see all the customers. Not showing anything. Oh, there we go. With all your customers, so you can email them and see what they've purchased and all that kind of stuff. You can create coupons. I'm not going to create one, but I used to have some where, 50% off on Wednesday or some crazy thing like that. And we go back to the regular site. Here you can have reports. If I do reports, I don't want to go through it. It takes a minute. And different extensions and stuff. So let's say it's all done. We want to now add products. So if we look at products, we can hit all products, just like we do pages and everything else. We can now create a product. Now, before you even create a product, you got to think about your products. So for instance, let's say you're going to sell clothing. You're going to need things like attributes. An attribute is a thing like color and size. So you want to do that ahead of time. Let's go to attributes already before we add a product. Let's say we want to add color as an attribute. And once you create that attribute, did I hit attribute, add it, add the attribute. My mouse is funny. I click it, but the click doesn't work sometimes. Once we have that attribute, we need to configure what's in the attribute. Like in this case, since it's color, we need to add stuff like red. And that slug just makes the version of the name that is URL friendly. Notice as a capital, it produces all the lowercase. Let's say I pick something like navy blue, which is 2 words. Add that and watch. It produces the URL version of that name, which is called a slug. It produces it for itself, or you can produce your own slug. Let me pick black, just so we have a few things in here. All right, that's an attribute color. I'm not going to add all different attributes, but you can have attributes of size, color, and shape. I mean, let me see. Yeah, size, color. We got color now, but we can also add size. Add that as a main attribute. And then in the attribute, we configure the terms in the attribute. And we can pick the size, so we can say small. Wait a minute, I'm going to say small. It could have been just a letter. Medium. And large. And there's many different ones, but I'm not going to go through all of that. So now if we look at our categories, we have 2 different, oh no, I hit the wrong thing. It was under attributes. So we have 2 different attributes. Now, again, we can also have categories. In categories, it could be like shoes or pants. It could be male, female, children. That would be stuff like that. Or it could be electronics, all these different kind of things. But let's say we don't know what they are now because we can produce categories on the fly. So now we want to add our first product. So we can go to, if we go to products, we can see our products. While in our products, we can add a product. Or up here, remember that menu? We can go new product if we want. New coupon, new order, new subscription. See, I told you this will grow according to what we install on the site. We're going to create a product right now. Let's create a product. All right, let's go find a product we can create. I'm gonna go over here on I'm gonna go to somewhere. Let's say we go to let's look for some kind of widget. Let's say shoot, I don't know what to get. Let's say I hate computer thing though. Let's say computer. Let's pick a computer. There's a Surface Pro. Man, I wonder why everything's so slow right now. I think because I'm streaming it at the same time. All right, so oh no, why did I do that? I don't want that. Pick something that's at a real place, like Best Buys. That's why it took so long. It didn't exist. All right, so there's a real product, right? So we want, notice how the names on products are like all the stuff, because that's part of the SEO. Anything they search on will be in that name. So we're going to go back to our product. We're going to add the same thing they did. That's all that stuff. Remember, this is like a blog post, so it can take a long name. Okay, go back. We probably want some of these pictures. So let me save that picture. And what is it waiting for? All right, let me just make a folder here because I want it to be all over my computer. Make a folder, just call it class. And inside class, we'll start throwing a couple pictures, because we need a couple pictures because you need multiple views. So we'll add that. I need to show you this was why I need to add so many. That, pick something else. That. Any day now. That, and let's pick one more. That. And if it's shoes, you'll do multiple versions of shoes. Okay, I'll see you, Lydia. All right, so there's the shoes. So I mean, not shoes, what I'm talking about. Here's our stuff. Now we also want to see these here. These are attributes. So if we were selling a computer, we'd have to add all these attributes. We'd have to add size, storage, processor, graphics, and those would be all the different attributes. And then we'd have to put all the stuff in those attributes that we have. Okay, because they would change the pricing of the system. We also want to now grab description. Like this has all kind of different things. So we'll just quick overview. we just grab this right here. Oh, yeah, I want to grab this. Go back to the system. This will be what's in our body. Okay. Now, you can also have attributes, advanced stuff in here where it has different tabs of stuff, but we don't want to do that right now. So we're going to say this is this. We're going to say it's not a virtual product. It's not a downloadable product. It's a simple product. If we had multiple attributes, then we'd say it's a variable product. Variable products will use our attributes. Even though I'm using color and all this kind of stuff, it's a computer, so it's not really the same, but I'm going to use it anyway. So we're saying it's a variable product. We can put in some SKU number. It can be the real one if you want it. We're not going to manage the stock. We're not going to limit the purchase. We're done with that part. Let's go over to shipping. We need to pick out what size it is. So you'd have to actually literally go and get that too. So I think it's specifications. There we go. You'd have to pick up shipping size. We're just going to say, for just simple, we're going to say it weighs 10 pounds. We're going to say it's going to come in a box that's, I don't know, like 15 inches by 20 inches, and it's only about 3 inches high. We don't have a shipping class, so we don't mess with that right now. We're not going to link it to other products, so we don't have any other products. So you can actually link a product. For instance, let's say if you're selling a dress, you can also say link it to these shoes and to this necklace or whatever. So when they actually pick it, it'll say other people bought these other things, or these things could go with that. In this case, it could be memory or, or external hard drive. Now, attributes, we need to pick attributes for this. We need to look at our attributes. These are attributes we picked. So we'll say color. We'll add that attribute. Okay. And we'll pick what's in those. So remember, we only had a couple of different colors. So we can say red and black. Whoop, and black. Well, I'm going to pick it. I spelled it wrong anyway. Bakak. Okay, we'll just keep it that way. We'll say we're going to use these attributes for the variations on it. Save attributes. Okay. Now that we have attributes in place, we have to go look at our variations. And we'll use the variations from our created attributes. So we say go. Now remember, it's going to multiply itself because you got however many variations you have, it's going to produce them. So now look, we have a black variation, we have a red variation. So in that black or Bakak version, you open it up, we'll say if it's a black one, it's this SKU, and the price is going to be, let's say the price was $1,000. Let me see, how much was it really? Did it ever say? Oh, $1,700, right? We'll say the black version is $17.99. Okay, it's on sale for $16.99. It's in stock. It weighs 10 pounds. It's, I don't know what it was, 15 by 20 by 3. And we could have said the shipping class same as the parent. We could say this is what am I doing here? This is a black one, not Bakak. All right, that's that one. Then we go to the red one and open it up. Now you can imagine how much time it takes to do a real store. Give it some SKU number. Okay. Variation price. Let's say the red one costs $2,000 and it's on sale for $19.90. Well, no, that's not even a sale. Say it's on sale for $1,800. It's in stock, same 10 pounds, same 15, 20, 3. We'll say the red one. Okay. Save all this stuff. All right, it's all saved. If we go now to the website and look at our shop. Oh, we must not have a product in place. Oh, we never published it. Okay. Plus, we haven't given a picture. So we want to give it a picture of the product, upload that picture from this folder, class. And I mean, I need to see these pictures. Let's see. Go extra large. I'll pick that as our main picture. And you should SEO it at this point. Like put in the alt text and all that stuff, whatever. I'm not going to do it right now. Save it. And then we have variations on the product, which are these. These are the product category, the gallery. So now we want to add the other images. So we want to add now all these three. The ones that we didn't pick as a main image. It got dark in here all of a sudden. I guess the light went down. I'm a few minutes over, but we'll be done in a second. And so yeah, we add that to the gallery. So that gives us now multiple views of that main product. Remember, we can give it a category. We can say it's, how about computer? Computers, add that category. We can add a product tag if we want. The tag would be, what is that, Apple. Go back to where I was at. Make it Apple. Maybe a tag. Oh, shit. Actually, category. You knew it here, Apple. So you can do multiple categories. So that is definitely, Apple is also a computer. So that will work. When we're done with all that stuff, we can say, okay, publish it. Okay. And if we go to the website now and hit shop, we have a product right there, see? And it's on sale because we even said it was on sale. We hit it, it gives us the big product picture and smaller images. Those are those other products, right? Now, additional image, that brought up our weight and all this kind of stuff. We don't have any reviews yet, but because we turned that on, so it is there. Description. Notice we have no option here. Notice how it's $16.99. So it's picking the first one by default. If we pick, which is the Bacac model, but we could pick the red model. And notice the price changed. See, $1,800. We picked the black. See, it changed. That's how you use those variations. Then once you add it to the cart, we can view the cart, and it's in the cart. Shipping is already ready to ship. We can change the address at this point. We can proceed to checkout. Since we don't have anything really set up, it's going to just fail because there's no way to pay for it. Let's see what it does. It puts all this stuff in you got to pick. But notice, see, there's no payment method, so it won't go any further than this. And since I didn't pick a shipping method, it's going to be free. Yeah, make sure you pick all that stuff. Anyway, that's how you set up the shopping engine. Now, what I was going to show you also is how you can get products that the system can pull in for itself. And one of those places is, and they make a million of these places, I think it's called Printify. Printify, there's a plugin for Printify. Let me see. I have an account. All right, here's my Printify account. Okay. And get rid of all this stuff. All right, so I have a store. So if I go into my other website, which I think is, I don't know where I have this maybe set up, but let me go to this website and go to, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to mess with my real website, but anyway, you can get a Printify plugin. You get a plugin in, you add that to your website. It will automatically fill your store with the stuff that you choose inside of Printify. So I can go to the catalog and I can look for stuff like, let's say, bestsellers. I can say, okay, this is where you can pick clothing and stuff. They'll do it for you and you can sell it. So right now they're saying the price right now is $7, but you can make it whatever price you want to make it. Let's say we'll add this one. We can literally set it up, and we can say, you can design it and whatever. And once you do that, you add it to your system, and it'll show up inside of your website automatically. Once people buy it from here, you get paid, and it automatically pays these people, and you get your little commission, and they ship it. You don't even mess with it, but it's all being sold from your website. It's full drop shipping. So you can fill your whole site up with all your own designs, and then you just make money, but you just got to market it. This is just one place. And there's so many of these places that have drop shipping kind of controls. Notice how they tell you what, the price would be, tell you what the shipping would probably be, and it sets up the shipping, it sets up everything. You just have to tell it what you want to sell it for, what your upsell price will be. And they never know the difference. They get the product shipped to them, and it comes in your name. It don't even come in the other people's name. So any questions on that? Because I know we run over time. And I've recorded all this stuff, so let me kill this, kill that, kill this, that, and this is back to us now. So we go and look at all our products. We can see.
Do they have that? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have that for creative asset if you're doing graphic design, something like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, in this case, you mean like the products and stuff?
Yeah, like the services, like you want to sell like t-shirts or you want to
Yeah,
sell
that's what that is. Printify is that. You can literally sell t-shirts. And yeah, I'll send this to YouTube and put a link in the meetup group. But yeah, in this case, since Printify sells shirts, clothes, everything else, you yourself can draw all the stuff on it. They will actually print it on the shirts and everything. So when you sell it, they're going to get your orders with your artwork and everything on it. You see what I'm saying? This place becomes an actual print company for you that does all the artwork and all. So when you order a product, let's say you go to a product, let's say the bestseller, these bestsellers, you want to pick one of these bestsellers, like this hoodie. Well, before you even put it in your shopping cart, you got to go ahead and start designing it. Okay, so you design this. You start the design work, and you can upload your pictures, your whatever you want. And then when you get done with it, you save it, and it becomes a product with your artwork on it. So if you're an artist, you can sell t-shirts, you can sell shoes, or whatever they actually offer. We go back to the catalog, let's see if they sell shoes. Because some of these people sell shoes. Let me see, shoes. Yeah. So you can sell your own brand of sneakers and boots and whatever you want. So let's say we want to pick a pair of tennis shoes. We start the design process. Well, see, they show you what the shoe would look like. The left shoe, the right shoe, and they show you all the areas. So this area is where you can put your artwork inside, and it becomes your shoe, your brand. I say, I do have a Printify account with my design, but not sure how to put them together on the website. Well, with a Printify, let's say if we use Printify for example, we'd have to go to plugins, add a plugin, and we put in Printify. Printify. There we go. And see right there, we just install that plugin. It installs itself inside of WordPress. And then when you go to set it up, it'll connect to your Printify account, and then it's ready to rock and roll. Now, it'll automatically add stuff to your system. I think in my other website, like, let me see, digital advertising media. Let me see if I have that set up for that. /WP. Oh, no. Let me go back. I know Business in Black has it. So let me go back to BIB. If I go back to the dashboard, I think I can see it in here. So I go to plugins. See if I have it in here. Yeah, Printify. See, it's there already. It automatically puts stuff in. So if I go up here to and add these to my design, but you can see, you got to finish the design for it to work. So let's say if I go back and get a hoodie. Or anything. Let's see. Let me pick that guy right there. And I say start design. And if I pick from my own library, let me see, from my device, let me pick some picture. Oh, I know a good one, because I got cartoons of myself somewhere. Tunes. Go down to tunes. Here's a good one. Here's a cartoon of myself right here. All right, so I could literally modify this, save the product, and it shows like, oh, okay, I must didn't do the back one, so I'll leave it the way it is. So it's on the front. It shows what it looks like, right? Publish it. And now see how it's in here and it's publishing? Enable automatic routing, whatever that means. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what it means, but I enabled it. Go back to my store. And I need to be able to see my products. So that product's in there, right? It's publishing right now. When it gets done publishing, it will show up it'll show up on my website. I haven't done it for a while, so. See it shows that it's published already. So now if I go back to my website and go to my products, I should see the shirt in there. See, see, it automatically put it in my shopping cart. If I view the product, it'll already be set up. See, look, it's already set up right there with my picture on it. It's got different views. See, it already has the colors and sizes already set up, ready to go. It already got a price already set up. I can actually add it to my cart. Look, description already is already there. I can go and view my cart, my shopping cart. See, it's already in there. See right there, all ready to go. Look, man, it costs a fortune. It costs $10 to ship that damn thing. So it cost, for right now, $57 for that ugly ass shirt that I created. I mean, a hoodie that I produced. But it's ready to go. If I hit it, it'll show up and come in my door. And I don't have to do a thing. I just made money off my own product and it shows up at my door. Any other questions? I mean, this right here, if you'd have set this up before Christmas and just market the crap out of it, you could be making money at home and never even leave your house. And WordPress didn't cost you a thing. The only thing it cost you was your hosting and your domain name, and you're ready to rock and roll. Take you some time and draw some stuff. And like my daughter is into Jurassic Park. And you know, she shouldn't be doing this, but she just stole all kind of pictures of Jurassic Park stuff and stuck it on stuff, and she sells a bejesus out of that stuff. I told her one day she's gonna get, fined for copyright. So now she modifies the images a little. So she'll take an image, run it through some filter to make it look funny looking, and then that's what she sells. And I think the last time I talked to her, she made like $800 already. And she didn't do anything. She just put the pictures up there and sold it and marketed it. She even put it on, a couple of social media networks, and then she sells them. I'm just too lazy to do all that. But you can make a fortune, especially if you're already an artist kind of person. You can draw up your own stuff, make up your own t-shirts and everything. Or all your own. Hell, you can have your own clothing line. Tell you the truth. Just using Printify by itself, And I think Printify does more stuff than just that. I think Printify, let me see if I go to the catalog. Yeah, I need to go to something. Where's the search at for the catalog? Let me just do any product. What are you here? Let me see. Let's see. Let me pick something like, oh, well, you know, they probably have cups. Yeah, see, they got that kind of stuff. Hats. What else? What else they got? Give me a, for instance, if you're still there. Probably not there, so let me pick something
Oh,
else.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
driving.
Oh, you're driving. Oh, well, you
Yeah.
just listening. You just listening to me or something?
No, I have you. I have it. My phone stuck to the glass, and I'm listening to you and looking at you at the same time.
Oh, well, that's cool. All right. There's no crashing and when you get too happy and excited.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, but don't get me there.
This is they have books. What is that? Is that a book? What is that thing? Generic brand? What? Oh, bookmark. All right. So I was trying to figure out something that's this weird. And you can pick the type. Look, dye sublimated. I mean, they even do embroidery, you know? So it's you set it up, they do it, and they ship it. And my partner does this. She has a order of 50 sweatshirts right now going to some company. And she didn't do anything, but she's an artist. So she drew all the logo work and all that kind of stuff, and just having these people print it out. I mean, delivering it comes in boxes ready to go, all unbranded. It's just her stuff.
Okay.
Oh, skincare. All right. So how about bottles? Let me see if they have bottles. Like if you make your own kind of stuff. Well, look at that. See? Oh no, that's a different kind of bottle. How about perfume? Perfume. Nope, you don't have that. What other kind of bottles? What other kind of skincare product? See, it has to be the container of it, not the actual product. That would in their case would be your own product. So like I know like the water bottles, oh look, they even sell bags, travel bags, and I mean, they got a lot of stuff, man. Whatever it is, they just make it white and print on it.
Interesting.
I mean, this is a full-blown business ready to go. The same thing can be done with Bookify or Bookymon or whatever to make your own books. You upload your story, they make the book, and then people must pay for it. And they build it and ship it, and you get your money. My daughter's done that also. She wrote her own book about how to survive zombie attack. and she sold them, and she sold that book. Any notebooks? Okay, notebooks. Let's see, notebooks. Yeah, notebooks. You make your own version of notebooks, especially if you're a teacher or something. Look at that. What is that? A note cube. What the hell is that? Oh, they have those sticky note things. So they have. Oh, I didn't know they did these spiral notebooks. That's really cool. So if I did a notebook, started to design it, front cover and back cover. So I can say upload the picture for my front cover. And I don't upload my ugly ass. Let's see. I like the cartoons because I think it looked better for me. That's for the front. And the back cover. Upload. Oh. How do you upload the back one? Oh, I don't want to download nothing. How do we upload? There's the front cover. Okay. Back cover. Add. Oh yeah, okay, that's how you do it. Add another picture for the back cover. I'm gonna upload the real looking picture. So then I'd have to stretch it to fit within those guidelines, Although that would be a weird thing to look at, but so I'm gonna trash it. I'm not doing that. I mean, and notice they show you how much extra it costs to do the back side. Let me pick another cartoon. I mean, the back side would be, how about me and my pop or my dad? There we go. All right, how about that? And we'll make it so, yeah, that's fine. Save the product. Publish the product. Now notice the same publishing, right? Let's wait a bit. And it'll change to published in a minute. Once it says it's published, then it should be over at my website. Remember, they're setting up a whole bunch of stuff in my website right now. Or the plugin is going and getting it all.
That picture of your dad looks like Harry Belafonte. Just tell him to make some money off that.
When I see him, he looks like Fred. When I see him, he looks like Fred Sanford. All right, let me see if it's and how long it took the last time. We'll see.
So I'm sitting on a dormant WordPress site
There
that
it
I
is.
haven't done anything. So sometimes you gotta do just plug this in.
Yep, you sure can. Now watch. Let me go back to actually the store. It might just show up in the store. And let me see. Oh, there it is. Look at that book. All right, click it. I might go through here and make me some stuff like that, some notebooks and stuff. Look at that. Look at that crazy notebook. Look, me and my dad on a notebook.
Cool.
There you go. That's actually sort of cool. I actually like it. I hope nobody tries to buy that dang thing. That'd be so weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so notice that your product. Now I can go remove the product. So let me go and like trash the product. I think it's, let's see, where is it? Yeah, I can delete the product. And it will go and delete it out of my store. But it takes a minute. So we have to wait a bit. And eventually it'll go and it controls the store. That's what kills me. So we go back in here and go and look at the dashboard. And in time, it'll disappear out of my product. So if we go to products, we know the last thing. See, look, it's gone. See that? That hoodie is now gone. I might keep the little spiral notebook in there, see what people do. That's hilarious. Anyway, that's one of them. And they make a million things like this. So you literally can make a fortune off of stuff you produce. Hell, you could actually, for your family reunion, make all kind of stuff for your family reunion and sell it and have them buy the stuff. So anyway, I'm a half hour over. So I know everybody got things to do. If there's no more questions, I'm gonna close her down.
This will be posted on YouTube.
I'm gonna put it on YouTube also, but I'll post it on YouTube, but then carry it over to the meetup group that I use to do it with. I don't know, how'd you guys come to find out this stuff from meetup?
Yeah, I used to. Well, I've been part of you for a couple of years. I just haven't. This is the first time I come back in over a year or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, since I moved, I guess, or something.
Yeah, you out of North Carolina, right?
No, I used to live in Texas.
Oh, okay, all right.
Back in 2019, I moved over here. My dad's like got older, and I moved up here, stopped everything down there, moved up here, and then bought a house here and moved my dad in with me, and I take care of my pop.
Oh, okay, all right. But I was following you in 2019. That's before COVID, when I was learning WordPress.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
You
when
were
I
doing.
first probably came up here. Yeah.
Yeah, but where were you at? I was following your meetups, and you had a pretty large following, and then I kind of
Oh,
panned off in different directions.
oh yeah, that was See, I have, I think about 900 people in that one, in one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me stop my recording while I'm at it. Okay. I think I stopped the screen sharing. Let me